right, here from Davis-Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi, LSU with a big, big win. Bryce Koon alongside Glen West. And Glen, you and I were talking about scenarios when we came up here. I don't know if this was on our bingo card. It's a nice one to have, but LSU with a big win, kind of your just immediate reactions after talking with some of the players and seeing this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably first and foremost you got to look at the connection between Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. Those two hook up for, I believe, 191 yards. Or no, it was well over 200 actually, 239 with that last play there in the second half. I thought that that connection was extremely important and obviously a huge part in why the offense did so well. Daniels, I don't know that I've seen him play a better game since being at LSU. I mean, some of the deep throws that he was making down the field today, mainly to Neighbors, were extremely, extremely impressive. Exactly what you were hoping to see that part of his game evolve into this offseason, and I thought you really got a good first glimpse of it during the game today. And credit Neighbors, obviously was just a nightmare mismatch for them throughout the entire game. Defensively, you really just clamped down on them for most of that game outside of the one drive at the end of the game, which didn't really matter, and the one drive that closed the first half. Really just a dominant front seven performance, just various different guys, Savion Jones, Whit Weeks, Mason Smith had some really good moments. Harold Perkins looked like a little bit more like the Harold Perkins we were expecting. And I think that was a huge, huge momentum boost for a guy like him. Really just a expertly game-planned game from start to finish, and I thought LSU just did what they were supposed to. They handled their business, got a great big win here on the SEC on the road, and now you're off to kind of get into the meat of your schedule here with a lot of momentum. Yeah, a lot of momentum to start in what has kind of been a topsy-turvy SEC West so far. You get a dominating win, and this defense obviously had something to prove. We're going to talk about this more as the week goes on, or the weekend goes on, but Glenn, Brian Kelly mentioned it. I mean, not that they listened too much, but they had heard a little bit of the outside noise. Major Burns alluded to it, but it felt like this defense came out with an aggression, a controlled aggression that I think fans, media, kind of like to see out of this group. Oh, absolutely, and I think there's no better example of that than Mason Smith apparently walked into Brian Kelly's office on Tuesday and said, hey, we need to have a physical practice. We want to tackle. We want to go full speed. We want to essentially play like a scrimmage kind of deal where they're going full contact. And Brian Kelly doesn't usually do that earlier in the week, and obviously to help limit management injuries and stuff like that. But they went physical on Tuesday. They went long. Just being in the walking into player interviews on Tuesday, you could hear the cowbells going on, and they were certainly getting after it, getting physical, and I think that played a huge role. I mean, we talked to a number of players after the game. Greg Penn and Major Burns both said that aggression that they had to start the week really carried over throughout the entire week, and that it really helped them out. The tackling stuff at the very beginning of the week here, going full contact, getting that aggression out early, and making sure that you carried that over into a game like this was really important. And I think you saw that today. They tackled extremely well. They were very gap sound. I thought the front seven did a really nice job of handling a potentially dominant runner in Jaquavius Marks, who's came into the conference today leading the SEC in rushing. And so really standout performance from a lot of those guys. Mekhi Wingo, thought Jordan Jefferson had some really nice moments. Jacoby and Guillory. It was just a really all-around good effort, I think, defensively for those guys.
Yeah, front seven was absolutely nasty. We kind of wrap it up here with the last thing. A full 60. Kelly talked about that. They started off hot against Florida State, but they were able to, in this game, it really felt like impose their will in the beginning and throughout the game. How big of a key was that for you coming in, and now what you see got to make you feel good going forward into Arkansas next weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely important that you come on the road and you kind of eliminate the crowd and the cowbells and all the excess stuff from a game like this early on. And, offense went right down the field and got a good field goal. They scored a touchdown on the next drive, and before you know, it's almost 17-0 in the first quarter, and you're really kind of off to the races and running here. So just a really complete performance. I thought the mindset was great. You asked him a great question about just kind of the competitive edge and just how that translated over into a game like this. And you can definitely see it's clicking, I think, for this team a little bit more than it was a couple weeks ago. And just a really important win, important SEC debut, and we'll see if they can continue to kind of carry on some of that momentum going forward.
Yeah, it feels like a momentum-building win. LSU big winners 41-14 over Mississippi State. We'll be heading back to Baton Rouge right after this. Have great coverage for you all week long. Talk with Brian Kelly on Monday. Make sure to stay tuned to the Go 24/7 website. Great interviews that we had with all the players. Content as well that you want to make sure you check out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you next time. Glen West, Bryce Koon. This has been the Go 24/7 Instant Reaction Podcast.